It's been a long time since I've seen an SSI role-playing game without the AD&D label on it. Now that TSR and SSI have parted ways, I hope we can expect to see more titles like Alien Logic.
Actually, Alien Logic isn't really an RPG, at least not in the traditional sense. It's really a little bit of everything.
Alien Logic is a sign of the times in PC gaming. It's a truly multi-dimensional, complex game that belies any one classification. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not sure.
I classify adventure games as games where you move around a lot from place to place, collecting items and solving puzzles. There is a lot of moving, collecting, and solving to be done in Jorune, so it is an adventure game. Speaking of moving...
Ever hear that song, Man in Motion? I think it was from St. Elmo's Fire. Anyway, that's you.
Sure is. For a humanoid, you sure can get around in Jorune. There are count 'em, four methods of travel, each one serving a certain purpose. This is Warp World, where you can cover a lot of ground in a hurry, but only if the right warp is available. You can find new warps during your travels.
Tracker mode, shown here, is used for exploring large land masses. While hovering over the landscape, you'll see various icons which represent points of interest. If you want to investigate, simply move onto an icon.
This zoomed view lets you get a close look at exactly what creatures or landmarks are present in the area you choose to investigate. Again, moving your character over one of the icons will zoom the view even more.
This fourth and final view is the side view, which you use to do virtually everything except move. That includes saving and restoring games, which can only be done in this mode. That makes sense, I guess. You usually only restore if you die, and this is the only mode you can die in.
While we're on the subject of dying, let's talk about combat. Alien Logic uses a real-time combat engine unlike any I've seen in a PC game for a long time. It's really just point and click, but it's far from easy.
While in combat mode, you hold shift and right-click the mouse to perform a defensive maneuver. Right-clicking alone performs an offensive maneuver. The more powerful the maneuver, the longer it takes your energy meter to recharge. Timing is key.
Larger creatures will sometimes leave goodies behind. Practice on smaller ones first, though.
When you get bored of squashing small pests, it's time to move on to Weaving World, where you can learn new powers and enhance old ones.
The concept here is really interesting. Those little icons represent powers also known as daishas. The one in the middle is you. You have to lure the powers to you by dropping power crystals in front of them. Obviously, the further away from you a daisha is, the more crystals it'll take to win it.
The planet Jorune is home to a multitude of humanoid races created through genetic experimentation. To an extent, you can do that yourself as well through a process known as biotech. Humanoid bears, wolves, and cougars are all common.
So are humans themselves. Unfortunately, none of the races seem all that interesting once you get to know them. The dialogue in this game is pretty weak and seems to drag on forever. After a while, I began avoiding conversations like the plague.
So what's the point of all this? Well, the manual and game intro say that you're supposed to rescue your human friends from a mysterious villain known as the Red Shantha. You can ignore that, though, at least for a little while.
I really can't think of a reason why any experienced gamer would dislike Jorune. It can be a bit overwhelming at times, having to use so many different functions in a real-time game. Once you get the hang of it, though, you don't want to let go.
Let's see some more of this SSI. We approve.